Ooh, the critics certainly have the taste of blood in their mouth, don't they? They're currently calling Borderlands the worst video game movie of all time. And while I agree this is certainly not a good movie, I'm not going to be hyperbolic and say it's the worst video game adaptation of all time when this exists. Or this. 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 Or this, or this, or this, or this, or this, or this. But not counting them, yeah, it's definitely the worst video game adaptation of all time.
Let's take a look.
Borderlands is a 2024 video game adaptation starring Cate Blanchett, Kevin Hart, and Jamie Lee Curtis. In it, a bounty hunter is sent to the desolate planet of Pandora. Not that one. To retrieve the daughter of a powerful, wealthy man, only to discover that the girl is the key to uncovering a vault filled with alien technology that everyone on the alien planet has been looking for reasons, I guess. They never really say what's in it or why it's important or why everybody's hunting it. It's just a vault. I'll never forget what my dear old mom told me whenever I turned 18. Get out. But before that, she told me that if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. And so I'm going to start this review, where I'm not going to say that many nice things, with me saying a nice thing, and that nice thing is this. It is so refreshing to see a science fiction action movie headed by a mature woman. To be honest, I think the worst sin of Borderlands is that it's not as good as it should have been for that reason alone. Cate Blanchett shows that you don't need youth to be beautiful and badass, and as I said, that's refreshing because she's a lot of fun in this movie. It's about the only fun in this movie. Well, Claptrap is kind of fun. Jack Black was kind of fun. I know people are mad at Jack Black right now, but he's still funny. So yeah, that's all the nice I have to say about Borderlands. So it's time to slit a vein and let the black, oily substance of hatred that I have in place of blood gush out, because there's a lot to hate about this movie. Have you ever gone to a friend's house to play video games and they have a cheat code? And when they enter in the cheat code, their character can never die. And so you watch them mow down waves and waves and waves of enemies, and you're bored out of your skull because you know that there isn't any risk, and you know that your friend is never going to let you play because they're never going to die. But that's okay, because you can at least watch the cutscenes for the story, but your cheat code friend makes it to the cutscenes and immediately skips them, so you have no idea what's going on. No risk, no reward. That's it. That's this movie. Zero character development, zero consequences, and zero stakes. It's a lame science fiction recycled trope and no real flair. No real pizzazz, no real identity of its own. There are even some lines that I swear were directly lifted from other, better movies. But yeah, this movie is just a mess. It's an absolute mess. It is so badly plotted that it seems to forget to include important parts of the story, and so it has to squeeze them in later. Guys, there's actually a scene where Jamie Lee Curtis, in the middle of one of its many never-ending, lame, boring action sequences, says, "Ooh, I just figured it out!" and then proceeds to give information that keeps the movie going another 5 minutes. Any story points that they do remember to keep in the movie are delivered in clues that are so obvious you have to be the dumbest person on earth to not see the big twist coming. And all I can say is thank goodness they kept this movie colorful, because if they'd gone with a drab palette, I don't think I would have made it through. And I've never played Borderlands ever, so I don't know anything about the game. But I can't imagine that any knowledge of the game would improve this film that I just saw. In fact, I'm going to make a blind bet right now that people who have played the game probably hate this movie more than I do, because it's just an incompetent movie on its own. I hate to know what they've done with the source material. It is badly plotted, badly written, and some of the special effects are shockingly low quality for a movie that was supposed to have cost $200 million to make. There are moments, particularly in a chase through a canyon after Cate Blanchett's character finds Kevin Hart and Ariana Greenblatt, that is so green screeny, it makes this garbage look good by comparison. And please, don't get me started on the whole pee thing. The pee area. Is that a level in the game? If it is, you players should just be ashamed of yourself. But that's okay, right? At least we have action, right? Yes, there's action. This movie is the equivalent of your parents making you smoke an entire pack because they caught you with a cigarette. Yes, there's action. And it never stops, and rarely makes sense. The editing is choppy and confusing, and there's never any stakes to anything. Never once did I, even for a second, think that any of these characters were in any real serious danger, because all of them had plot armor of the most annoying variety. In truth, at one point they have to leave Kevin Hart's character behind, which in most cases would be a blessing, but he makes a heroic sacrifice to get his friends to safety, leaving him in the middle of a hopeless situation that he can't possibly escape. Until he literally does 4 minutes later. Because, the audience couldn't be thinking that Kevin Hart was dead. No stakes, no consequences, no reason to care. This is like watching Guardians of the Galaxy, only you hate all the characters and you're bored. This movie isn't cast very well either. Cate Blanchett is great, even though you can see she's dying on the inside, and Jamie Lee Curtis is always fun. But Kevin Hart was so completely wrong for this movie. Now, admittedly, I'm not a fan of Kevin Hart in the first place, but he has appeared in movies that I've liked, and he does have roles that I like, but here he lacks all the physical and dramatic prowess that would make me think he's an action star. But oh my glob, Ariana Greenblatt's character is horrible. I can't really pin this on the actor because she's given some of the worst and most irritating lines to read through.
Time to make it rain with your body parts.
But I can say that Ariana Greenblatt's Tiny Tina is the most annoying, grating character in the entire film. I hated this character so much that every time she appeared on screen, I became viscerally angry. But Claptrap was funny. I'll give him that. I mean, I know everybody's mad at Jack Black right now, but he was still funny. Borderlands is just bloated and bad. I hear that there was some behind-the-scenes drama and studio interference, and believe me, the makers of this movie have nothing but sympathy from me, but at the end of the day, a bad movie is a bad movie, and Borderlands is a bad movie. Just save your money, kids. Let it bomb as it needs to. I would say it would teach the studio execs a lesson, but let's face it, it won't. Borderlands isn't worst movie of the year bad, as some are claiming, but it's definitely bad. There are worse, but this is still bad. Do you want to know what isn't bad? Becoming a Patreon. That's the opposite of bad. It's good. So, a hearty thank you to John Borg, James Gibbons, and Bradley Amiel Julian. You guys can be on my team anytime you want, and I promise I won't use cheat codes that you know of. Becoming a Patreon is so easy a psycho could do it. Just check the link in the video description below, or click this thing right here. That should take you to my Patreon page where you can sign up for as little as $5 a month. And if you're not a subscriber, please become one now by clicking that subscribe button, like, share, comment, and then become an absolute icon by clicking that notification button so that you can be the first to know when I post new trash on my channel. Did you know you can become a channel member as well and get these videos early? Take a look into that. I'll be glad you did. I don't know if you will be, but I will be. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll come back next time to find out what I watches. Jason watches. That's the name of the show. I really was not being very creative when I came up with the name for this show. I'm sorry. 20 times more creative than the people who wrote this movie, but yeah, not with coming up with this title. I'm going to take my cat and go home. Oh. Bye.